Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you're new here, what it do? It's your girl Kaya in this thing, and today I am doing another advice video. I didn't want to, but I decided. I've noticed a lot of people are going back to school because I wasn't sure if people were going back to school, so I was like, there's no point. But then there's online schooling, but I've never done online schooling, so yeah. And I have a list, and it's broken down. The more lengthy subject, I guess you could say, is academics, and I will be discussing, I'll put it on the screen, I'll be talking about academics, social, and financial, and other, because I didn't know what category to put this in. So I'm gonna start off with academics because that's why you're going to school. You're going to school to learn, to better yourself, to better your future, for a hopeful, successful future. So I feel like academics is the place to start. My first advice is self-discipline and accountability. So you need to discipline yourself to do what you need to get done, because you're grown. You should be grown. If you're not, then you're in college, so you need to be responsible for what you do. Hold yourself accountable. If you forget to do your homework, don't make up excuses like you just didn't do your homework, you didn't make time for it, wasn't your priority. Make it your priority. Hold yourself accountable. If I really cared about it, I would have done it, but I didn't. And I know you forget, but you only forget because you don't make it a priority. Acknowledge that you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Learn from it, move on, okay? That's the first advice, and I would just be straight up. If you feel attacked, feel attacked. My next one is to use your campus resources. So on my campus, we have kind of like tutors in our academic center, and I think they have an online thing, and then I don't know if our library is gonna be open, but we did have, like, you can email or message a librarian and they will help you through it's kind of like a support kind of thing on the website. So that's cool. Use your resources because they're not gonna pursue you, you have to pursue them. The next thing is find your classes before the first day of class. Make sure you understand your schedule. Make sure you know where to find your classroom number, because that was confusing for me. I didn't understand it at first, but then I figured it out. It's not that hard. It shouldn't be that hard. If it is hard, ask somebody and figure out where your classes are, because that'll make you more prepared. Then you'll feel less anxious about class and all of that, because I know sometimes when it's my first day, like, you worry about, oh, what if I walk into the wrong classroom? Like, that's embarrassing. You don't want to do that. So make sure you find your class. But I think you should definitely make sure you know where your class is, where you're going. Know where you're going before you go. My next word of advice is try not to procrastinate. If you can't do your homework on the day that it's given, then find a day that works for you, or a time. What I would do for me is I would have 2 classes on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then 2 classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So what I would have ideally wanted to do is do the assignments on the day that it's given, but I'm lazy, so I would just do it the day before, and that worked for me. It might not work for you, but if it does, then I think you should do that. If you have like the same class every day, then I guess it's a little difficult. So you need to make sure that you do your homework or get ahead in your homework, especially if you do have online classes. I think you should be able to see all of your assignments. I'm just assuming. Don't come for me if I'm wrong. My next word of advice is study for your quizzes, study for your finals, study for your tests. So for me personally, I think we only had quizzes online. Usually for culinary, we have quizzes online, and then we don't have any tests, and then we have our final on the last day of class. So just make sure you study for those, because you might think you know it, or just because you went to class doesn't mean that you retained all the information, because sometimes the stuff in the final is stuff that's in your textbooks, or stuff that's in the PowerPoints, or stuff in your notes, so you might want to review everything just to make sure you didn't miss anything. And also pay attention, because usually I feel like usually the teachers let you know what's gonna be on the final, and they'll be like, oh yeah, definitely study this, study this, study this. If you study everything that they say and there's like a few things that they didn't mention, you should get a passing grade at least. So at least if you study, okay? And my next word of advice is to go to class. Going to class is very important. If you pay for your school, even if you don't, someone else is paying for your school, and it would be very rude for you not to go to class, because you're given the privilege of being able to be in school, if that makes sense. Like, not everyone has the privilege, not everyone has the money, not everyone is able to get the money to go to school. I feel like it's very important to go. I think for my school, every class is worth like $300 or something, 300 or 400. I forgot what they said. If you miss a day of class, like, that's kind of stupid because it's wasting your money. Even if you're late, like even if you're tardy, like, still go, because you're gonna learn something either way, you know. Just go. My next advice is socially. So I have three things that I want to say. The first one is be intentional with people, whether that's to create friendships or networking. I don't like to call it networking because it's like, be nice to these people because they might like you in the future, or they might like you. Like, you don't want to leave a bad taste for someone. What if you need to get a job and they're working at this job, and like you see them while you're there, but then you leave and they're like, don't hire that person, they're blah 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 blah. Like, keep that in mind, okay? Keep it in mind. Don't be that one person that everyone doesn't like. My second is, you don't have to go to every event, every outing. When your friends invite you out but you have a ton of homework, you don't need to go. I mean, sometimes you do, because sometimes, like, I have a ton of homework. Just going out will help me bring back the focus, or like relax me, and then once I get back to it, I can get back to the focus and get back into the work. Because sometimes you work your brain too much and then it just shuts down, and then you get distracted too easily. If you're getting too many distractions as you're working on anything with school, then you probably need a break. So sometimes you do need a break, sometimes you don't. You just need to know when is the time for that break, when is it appropriate. My next one is to join clubs. So I joined 2 clubs. I was only active in one. I was active in Crew, which is like a Christian organization. I really like that club because I believe in the Christian faith, so it's really cool. You should be able to find at least one club at your school that aligns with your values, what you like to do, your hobbies, anything. Join it, and you can find people that are just like you, and that's one way to make friends. And then now I'm gonna move on to financial. The first thing is to always apply for scholarships, because you can always be given free money. Okay, that's what you want. You want the free money. And save when you can. Save money wherever you can. If you're working, awesome, make sure you're saving money if it doesn't need to go anywhere else. The way I do it is you pay off anything that you have to pay off, see what you're left with, and I like to do 40 or 50% of what I'm left with to my savings, which is a lot. I save big because I want a big future. So if you want a big future, I say save big, even if that means that you're broke for the next 2 weeks until you get another paycheck. And then after that, maybe you can splurge and go get yourself something. My other category is do your laundry during the week. This is like something important because a lot of people do their laundry on Sundays. I've never done my laundry in a dorm on a Sunday as far as I remember. And even if I did, I don't think it was that bad because a lot of people know not to do their laundry on that day. So I would say do it during the week, Monday through Thursday. Next is to make appointments with counseling if you aren't doing well mentally, or if you just need someone to talk to. Because I know sometimes it can get rough, especially if you're away from family, and you may have friends on campus, but like you may want to talk to someone else, someone fresh, someone who doesn't know everything about your life, or not everything, but like, you know what I mean, not someone who knows you as a friend, but someone who doesn't know you at all. It can be nice to talk to people. If your school offers counseling, that would be great for you if you need that assistance, because you don't want to be down at school, because that's definitely utilize, as I say, your resources. That's a resource that we have on my campus. Next is check your emails. I will tell the truth, I don't check my emails. Well, I do, but if they look like they're not talking about anything, I don't continue reading. So yeah, I don't see the reason to. But make sure you read your emails, check your emails. Sometimes they email you, like, let's say the school's on lockdown, they're gonna possibly email you, or security will notify you somehow. Sometimes for my school it snows, so if it's snowing they will email you to let you know if there's no school. I know which emails to check and which ones not to check, but sometimes the ones I don't check end up being ones that I should have checked. Now my next one is to call your family. You should call your family, because that's like people that you're familiar with, people that you want to talk to, people that know you, people that can help you if you need help with anything, or you need to ask how to do something, and if your family is there for you. If they're not, then call someone who cares about you and who loves you, just to ask them for help, to talk to somebody. It's nice for them to know that you're thinking about them as well, and hopefully your family or whoever you call makes you feel better after you call them. Even if you're not feeling bad, I always feel good after I talk to family, because it's nice. My last advice is work only if you have to. So what I mean by this is, you have free time, and if you need the money, I believe you should work, but your main focus should be school. Like, it should only be a necessity if you're working, unless you just really want to work and you have the time and you can manage everything, like your schoolwork, going to class, everything like that, then go ahead. For me personally, I know I get a lot of work and I like having free time to myself, and I feel like if I was to work, that would take away my free time to myself. Even though I would be making money during that free time, I would prefer to spend it with myself, or doing things for myself, not for a company, you know. So yeah, that concludes this video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below any questions, comments, concerns, video requests, anything. If you really have questions, please ask me. I will answer to the best of my ability from what I know. I'll give you advice if you need some. Make sure you subscribe, because I am awesome sauce. I think that's it. So deuces, 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 deuces.